every single person loved Kanye's early production.
He's like, oh, like doing his face like that.
In this video, we're gonna find out why. We'll take a look at the crazy sampling techniques that Kanye pioneered and how he had beats so good that he basically made
half the Blueprint album. I heard you did half of Jay-Z's album.
But for us to actually understand and learn from Kanye's genius production, there is this thing which shows us all the beautiful techniques that Kanye came up along his career and how they started. Those are some unheard Kanye beats from 1997, which give us a beautiful insight into the genius mind of a young Kanye. Like on the first beat, where we already see this unique layering of sounds, or this sample transition with different chops, or this layering of two basses to create an insane bounce. And it is because of this foundation, this main chop that he created, that he can now go off and do something like this. Where he selects different parts from the song, like this chop, or this one, and layers them on top of the already existing chop, but lowers the volume on them. Which is a technique he also used later in the Blueprint Never Change breakdown. But I might even be a bigger fan of the way Kanye transitions his parts, and it is with this kind of chopping, which he for example used here, or also to intro the song. You just heard the bass earlier. I love this thing that Kanye does, where he has like the acoustic bass here, but also creates a bit of a tiny turnaround all 4 bars with this 808 bass. And on the drum side of things, Kanye already explored something which he'll build on the rest of his career, like for example on Izzo, and even crazier on God Breathe on this. It is to set every single perk with extreme intention. That means no random perk going on in the background. Every perk gets their space and also has to be there. But sampling ain't always as easy as it was on this beat. And an expert sampler like Kanye himself obviously created some extreme cool techniques to come around things like unwanted snares in the sample, or what you're gonna do when you have only 3 bars to loop. And this is exactly something which the third beat of the beat tape will teach us. But let's imagine we were young Kanye, and let's listen to the sample and see if we can find the 2 things which are really annoying if you would want to use this. The first one is this insanely loud rim shot. And my first thought was, maybe we can EQ it out, or if we put it on the right place, we can hide it behind our snare on the 2 and 4. But Kanye had a way better approach than this. He simply chopped around the snare. So instead of the intro sounding like this, it sounds like this. Which could make the difference from your beat sounding amateur to professional. And the other problem that Kanye encountered was not having enough things to sample from. There's only a 3-bar loop which he wanted to use. And my solution to the problem would sound like this. Which is okay, it kind of loses the momentum on some parts. But let me show you what Kanye did to keep the momentum and energy high. He chopped the chord, but from a different starting point. So instead of playing the chord again, he played it in between like this. And even though these samples are absolutely beautiful, the main energy still comes from these amazing drums. But the most important thing for these early 2000 Kanye drums is the texture.
I just need some dusties. I need some, you know what I'm saying?
So to get as close as humanly possible, I did the exact same sampling techniques that Kanye did. In Kanye's Netflix documentary, we saw the record player that he uses to chop up drum loops load them on the MPC and use them as one-shots, which is the exact record player that I used right here. I chopped up drum loops, sent them to my friend with an MPC, got the vinyl and MPC texture, and that's exactly what I did for the whole drums from the MPC kit right here. And before I now show you some legendary Kanye beats, you need to listen to how Kanye intros this beat. This has to be one of the most legendary intros ever. And now with all of these techniques, we're somewhat similar equipped to how a young Kanye was when he made beats like Izzo, Never Change or Heart of the City. So let's take a look at them and see why everybody loved those beats. Again, sample layering to transition between the parts. And just like the first beat, layering of samples to create different parts, in this case the hook of the verse. What? Also, another thing Kanye had to do was chop every bar individually in order for the track to stay on tempo. And in Never Change he also used layering of samples. And a thing which I really like is that he used every single part of the sample which could possibly fit in there. Like for example at the beginning when there was this drum break. He used this now to transition between different parts. And as I told you before, the drum parts of Izzo have a kind of evolutionized version of what we had earlier, because look at the hi-hat, it's extremely minimalistic now. Which is even better at giving space to the other perks, like for example this shaker. But the biggest change from what Kanye had on the beat tape to what he did now is the extremely soulful sample selection. And here are also two more gems by Kanye himself, what he looks out for when sampling.
I usually be sampling the bridges of like songs from the 70s.
And another legendary producer slash artist is Tyler the Creator. If you want to know why his newest album is so special, you should check out this video. Thanks for watching. Hey, let's go!